Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Normally, I don't just do something like this. I don't start a video on a Monday morning at 10:24, but to be honest, this is such an ever-changing situation. It's so fluid. I didn't want to record something and then 20 minutes later have it be outdated. That is literally how on edge I think all A's fans are right now. And for a lot of different reasons, right? You've got the whole Howard Terminal situation unfolding, and in a lot of good ways, but that's stressful. Now you've got trade talks. You've already had Bassitt dealt. What's next? Spring training just getting underway today. Thank you, music. So there is a lot going on with the Oakland A's and some things I wanted to discuss. And first off, over the weekend, a video that I didn't get around to making because, well, Saturday night was covering hockey. And then yesterday, I kind of wanted to just let all of this settle in, and I wanted to digest the news. But obviously, it's a pretty big deal that Chris Bassitt is now a New York Metropolitan. And it has me wondering if they should be my favorite National League team now or the San Diego Padres. Obviously, I've got huge loyalty to Bob Melvin, but Bassitt, Mark Canha, and Starling Marte are all going to be wearing the blue and orange this next season. Look, the loss of Chris Bassitt is immense. I think this is a player who was a backbone of this team, a player who embodied the Oakland A's. I mean, he really, for a lot of good reasons, became the team leader. Hang on a second, technical difficulties. And I think the biggest thing about this was that he was first, and it shouldn't come as a huge surprise. I'll be honest. I was driving down 680 when this happened on Saturday, and my text messages, while the car was going ding, ding, ding. So I'm having it read me the text messages, and it's always funny to have the car reading in that voice, I guess it's the Siri voice or whatever, and telling you what people are saying via text. But, in a way, it was only surprising because he was in the group of players that I expected could get dealt. I just didn't know that he would go first. And I think when I said, the surprise of it is only that he was a backbone of this team. The trajectory of Chris Bassitt, the leadership he took on, the ace role that he took on, I think this one, in a lot of ways, losing the others who we'll talk about, potentially, if it is a Chapman, if it is an Olson, if it is a Manaea, if it is a Montas, all of these, sting in respective ways. There's no question about it. But I think the player along with the personality, that's probably the best way to say it here as we talk about just first the situation with Chris Bassitt. And again, I only feel like it's fair to come on and do this video here because so many people were asking my thoughts and opinions over the weekend, and I'm going to kind of dive into that here as the live stream goes on. I do kind of have a little bit of a plan here, very much unscripted, but I kind of do have a format that I want to get into. So just first off, Bassitt, unfortunate, not surprising. Man, I wish him the best of luck. What a character, what an individual. Seeing what he went through on the field, off the field, the injury last year in August, how he came back. I mean, this guy, like green and gold and him just fit. He really fit the bill for this team. So again, my reaction here, the only surprise part was that he was the first trade. He's in that group of players, and everybody's talking about the five. So one is gone. Bassitt's gone. Montas, Manaea, Chapman, Olson. Those are the other four. But, I mean, if you're really thinking about this right now, is that it? I mean, what happens if some other team was interested in a Ramon Laureano? I think that's highly likely. Or a James Caprillion, or several other players who I truly feel like could be valuable for other teams. I already said the Mets. I talked about that. Canha, Starling Marte, and Chris Bassitt. That's quite a squad right there. So anyway, that kind of summarizes where we're at with the Bassitt part of this. But what does it mean now moving forward? Well, more trades likely to come. And again, I'm doing this live because I'm literally checking Twitter as I go, and I just saw something about the A's and the Twins in talks. about 30 minutes ago, they're interested in Montas and or Manaea. I don't think, again, none of this should be terribly surprising. I mean, these were the rumors literally starting in November that the A's are going to overhaul, the A's are going to recycle and regenerate. They've done this before, and I do have some deep thoughts about that in just a second. Why this time is kind of the same, but also why this time around might be completely different. So what does Bassitt being traded mean? That more are likely to come. I don't think that was a one-off. I think that was a large question on social the other day and other night. Does this for sure mean, what are the chances that everybody's gone by the start of the season or even by the end of spring training? And I've got this for you. I'm headed down there on Wednesday to Arizona. Here we are on Monday morning. I'm not even sure what this team's going to look like from Monday morning to Wednesday afternoon. I really do feel like there is something to the pace of this. And that's what I've got, that little note there about tearing off the Band-Aid, which I'll touch on in just a second. I think there are more likely, there are likely trades and moves still to come, but there's the whole deal here of the A's being patient, but also the thought of, can you get this over as soon as possible so that your team can move forward? I know, as somebody who follows this team, this group, who likes these players, as you probably do as well, there is something to tearing off the Band-Aid. If you could get this process over ASAP and move on, yeah, of course, that would be the easiest thing to do. But I also want to say that patience has to be a huge part of this for the Oakland A's. Because, you've got these assets. You've got the Chapmans, the Olsons, the Manaeas, the Montases, and others. Again, I'm kind of limiting it to those 5, but you've got all these assets. I don't know why, hypothetically, if a team like the Phillies were really interested in Matt Chapman, you want to get everything you can out of them. What is your rush to deal Matt Chapman? There is none. Now, I also realize it puts individuals in a limbo situation, which is not fun, and I'll discuss that in a second too. But if you're thinking about the prudent, smart thing to do from the franchise perspective, and only the franchise perspective, what's the rush to do this? And how about a team like the Padres? Okay, so Fernando Tatis Jr. now out for a couple months. Did he need surgery? Is that what the couple months is going to be? So are they extra interested in trying to land a huge bat like Matt Olson? And especially now that they're a DH team. They don't have a pitcher hitting anymore. They've got another bat for their lineup, and they probably have the interest and the money and the things they could offer the Oakland A's in return. Is that a possibility? So again, if you're the A's, what's the rush? Squeeze every last drop out of this, because if this is what we're going through, this next turn, it's going to be largely important to get this right by the time you open Howard Terminal. And that, to me, is the huge component of this, which I know a lot of people are considering, but you gotta, if you're the A's and you've been doing this for years, you really have to get this time right, because it likely is going to go along with the new stadium if you can get your next core of players in and contributing in 3 years, hypothetically. And I hate talking about this as if this is all science and math and it's that simple. It's not. The A's have been so good at finding talent, seeking it out, and developing it. And I've got more on that in just a second too. The process, how the process works with this team. So why not be patient? I know the tempting thing to do is to tear off the Band-Aid, make all your moves, get it done. But at the same respect, as frustrating as that is to players who are constantly like, is it today? Did I get traded today? Or what's going on here? No, nobody likes that. There is an aspect of that. It's not fun. If you're the manager, if you're the coaching staff, if you're the players themselves who are the ones being talked about as material goods, that's not fun. But I think there is something to consider here. right? Let's go back to December of 2014. Bassitt alone is an interesting study. I mean, when the A's got him from the White Sox, they gave up Jeff Samardzija and Michael Manaea. And the A's got in return Marcus Semien, Chris Bassitt, Josh Phegley, and Rangel Ravelo, who, I'm going to be honest, I can't place right now. And that's on me. No offense to Mr. Ravelo. But think about, I mean, in order, like Marcus, look what he turned out to be. And Bassie, look what he turned out to be. And let's not diminish Josh Phegley. I mean, I think in his role, what he did for the team, more than serviceable, to say the least, about Fegs. So all of that was essentially for Jeff Samardzija. And that was the last time this team kind of turned it around after 2014. So I know it's frustrating. I know. I totally understand the sentiment here of here we go again. But that was Samardzija, and look what the A's got back for that. Look how their future panned out. And this is a question already I'm getting, well, how about the two pitchers that the A's got in exchange for Chris Bassitt? How am I supposed to know what their futures will be, how they'll pan out, how they'll play out? Maybe one is tremendous, maybe both are. I hope that it's not the case. Neither of them are. But that's the A's have been so good at this. They've been so good at this part right here. And so that's why, like I said, you want to make sure that you're patient in this process, that you don't rush this process this next time around. I know, I'm like all of you. I wish it were start it, get it done, let's figure this out, let the team move forward, and, you know, have some new names to keep eyes on, or draft picks, or whatever the A's are going to acquire in return. But, yeah, I think Chris Bassitt's story alone shows you what the A's are up to again here. Now, this is different. I mean, this was just Samardzija, and they had a couple other moves that year after 2014, but obviously, but just think about, you know, the returns that should be there if this is what's going to happen. Matt Olson right now, the iron is super hot. Matt Chapman, I know he has struggled a little bit offensively the last couple years, but you know what he is. Frankie, Sean, they've had their moments of brilliance. You know, when they are refined, there's nobody better. And gosh, I hate to even say it like this. I sound like I'm advertising them for other people. But I feel like it's kind of the inevitable at this point, that their names are out there, and at some point, whether it's here in spring, whether it's early in the season, whether it's in season at some point, that there is extreme interest. And that's the other thing too. It's not like the A's are pushing these players on other people. If you tell them they're available, look at the interest. There's no surprise to me that the Padres or the Twins or the Yankees or whoever are interested, or the Mets are interested in a lot of the players the A's have. So I know it's uneasy times right now. And like I said, I mean, I'm going to be down at spring training on Wednesday and Thursday. And it can't, you know, it's productive because all these individuals are professionals, and they're, you know, they know what they're doing. Of course, it's not going to stop what they do on an everyday basis and how they get ready for the season. And no, I mean, they so long as they're around, they're going to be Ole, Chappie, and Frankie. Like, that's what these guys are going to do. But they're also human beings, and it's got to be in the back of your mind, like, they wish they knew what was next and how that was going to play out. And we're all like that, right? Think about you in your life, in any life situation you have. Do you like being in the middle of something, of transition that's probably inevitable? No. And if you're the manager, how about Mark Kotsay? How many times has he already been asked about, well, we know you like your team right now, but what if your team changes? Well, that's among the most frustrating things possible. How are you supposed to answer that in a legitimate fashion? You just don't know. Getting a text message as we speak here. Let me just make sure. All right, no, we're good. Something else. But that's how it happens. And again, that's why I'm doing this video live, because I don't know what happens next. I don't know what happens after that. I don't know the futures. None of us do. We can see the writing on the wall. And I guess let me just say in closing that from, a sentimental aspect, man, it's been, and I guess I'm already speaking in past tense. It has been. If baseball went away right now, I'm just being hypothetical here, how fun it was to watch Matt Olson come up in 17, Matt Chapman right there with him, how these two were literally the Mats. I mean, in a sense that they both got engaged like weeks apart a couple years ago. They both got married weeks apart this past offseason. Both cornerstones on the respective corners of the infield. One is maybe more about his defense. Maybe the other is more about his bat. Those two alone, Chapman and Olson, man, I wanted this to go differently. Obviously. I wish some of the and if the stadium stuff had happened a little bit differently and sooner, and I realize it's a difficult process. Maybe they're retained right now. But I think it is imperative, and I should also add this too, it's super important to get this right, to time out if you're going to recycle. And I know Billy Beane and David Force, they're very aware of this. Come on. They know what's going on with the stadium stuff, and if they can time it out, they realize how you can really catapult a team to get the team right, and hopefully the business side gets the new stadium right. And you're looking at something sweet and special. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be with this group. And Frankie's been fun. I know Frankie has gone through maturation of obviously the suspension a while back, but making a name for himself. Look at that smile. I mean, Frankie, you could tell it's a good dude right there. I don't have Manaea's picture on here. Should have put Sean on there. He's gone through some injuries, and again, just a good clubhouse guy, good teammate. Man, all of these players, on a personal note, super frustrating to lose any one of these individuals, let alone a collection of them. And also the surrounding cast, who I'm not even mentioning. I think, if the A's are going to aim to be competitive in the rest of this season, you're going to need a Ramon Laureano still around. You're going to need a Chad Pender. You're going to need a Sean Murphy. You're going to, you don't want to deplete this thing. I mean, I understand there are these players, these handful of players that you want to get a return on. But at the same respect, I think you want your team in the meantime to be healthy enough. And when I say that as a group, you want it to go the right direction. You don't want to have to dig yourself out of a hole and then hope that the next generation of players are ready to contribute in a couple of years. I really don't know what else to add to this conversation. I'm not going to do any live chat here. I know there's probably things being said there. I'm not diving into that. I just felt like it was important to at least give my opinion here, give my perspective on what's going on. Because like I said, these are difficult times for A's fans, difficult times in a sense that we're all a little bit on edge. We don't know what's going to happen next. We can kind of see the trend and the direction. And Saturday, the Bassitt deal was that first, is it Sheryl Crow who sings that the first cut is the deepest? I can't play that here, obviously, but it literally is like that. It's on the field with this team. It's hopefully what does happen in the next couple weeks and months with Howard Terminal. I guess I should also state this. This might be the way to close it. I love these guys. I loved Bob Melvin, who's not going to be around. I loved Mark Canha. I loved Marte. I loved Bassitt, right? As individuals. I'm also here to play the long game with the Oakland A's. And what that means is anything that happens on the field in 2022 does not even come close to comparison with their ability to secure a new home in Oakland. Think about that for a second. I mean, if the Oakland A's win a World Series this year, make a magical storybook run, with or without these guys, right? None of that could compare to securing them in Oakland for the rest of my life and your life and probably your kids' lives if Howard Terminal comes through. Does that make sense? And I think that's a fair way to say it. Like, this season is a sliver of the importance of the Oakland A's. The next couple years are a sliver of importance. If you're going to be a fan, if you're checked in for life, keeping them here is the most important thing that can happen to the Oakland A's in 2022. I'm not here to diminish the product and the baseball team. No. I want you to watch all the games. I will be right there with you. Probably for about 120 or 30 games this year. Yeah, something like that. I'll be around a lot, right? But we're gonna follow every up and down of this season, but at the same respect and from a different perspective. What happens off the field with the stadium, that is the important part for the Oakland A's. All right, I've rambled for a bit. I see the live chat is popping. Well, you know what? I said I wasn't going to do this, but all right, I think I might. I'll get into the live chat. Why do I say it like that? I'll do the chat. Okay. No, honestly, I see there are some comments, so I'll run through as many as possible here, and I just didn't want to make this a real long one, but since you guys are here and guys and gals are here, I'll go for it. Ruben, hello. Tina, hello. Really surprised couldn't lock down Harrison for a year. Yeah, I mean, and seeing him sign over the weekend too, also frustration. Now, he's a free agent. You knew competition was going to be there, and now seeing the direction of the A's, man, but Jay Hay, in a brief time, he and Starling Marte, and Yan Gomes too, and Andrew Chafin, like all of them, but Marte and Jay Hay especially, just they had something special. Did I hear during Fans Fest they raffled off Bassitt's gear as the news was breaking? That is rough. And I was upset that I was not able to attend Fans Fest. I saw some photos. It looked like it went off well. I congratulate the A's fans on putting that together. I actually didn't know that our hockey game was in San Jose. Well, our broadcast was going to come from San Jose and not San Francisco. I thought I was going to drive right past Oakland, maybe stop by, go to the studio. Instead, I had to go to San Jose. And it was an earlier game, so it all kind of impeded me from being able to show up. Timothy, I hope Bassitt, Marte, and Canna are affected by the chaos. What? That is the Mets? Or maybe the Mets fix themselves. Who knows? But this is huge for them. Well, no. I'm legitimately saying here, I might take on the Mets or the Padres as my brand new National League team. Seriously. Nathan, I know that's the sentiment. New segment, Tears with Brody. Q, you are awesome. Yeah, we're very sober right now. I do beers with Brody at night. This is a very sobering video. I totally understand that. 5.5, is that what Jay Hay signed for? I didn't see the reported, the money part of it. Still sad for an A's fan. I totally get that. Trade our ace after a breakout season for prospects that may or not make it to the show. Well, I'm telling you, Nathan, like I said before, and I know you commented a while back, this is what the A's do. This is what the A's do. Let's see what else that I think is a good response here. And let me just say this. I'm trying to pick the responses and the questions that I have the best responses to. There's some questions you have that I just don't have an answer to. Sorry for venting. You know you should be used to this. What did you say, David? It hurts. Therapist Brazil. Well, I'm trying my best here. I feel like Chapman and Olson will be traded to the same team because people say they're the best first and third bass duo. I know what you mean, Fry. I know what you mean, and I think that's highly unlikely. I think that all these players are, for the A's. If you're talking about the big five, man, I hate grouping these individuals together, but Bassitt's already gone, so I guess it's the four remaining. I'd be surprised. The one thing that would surprise me in all this is if any of those four go together. Like if it is a Montas and Manaea deal unless some team has a whale of a return to give back to the Oakland A's. I probably see those players, none of those four going together. Now, those four with other players, potentially, but probably not in that group. Early stream. Yeah. And I said I wasn't going to do the Q&A, but here I am. Hello, everybody. Anybody who's surprised by the sell-off hasn't been paying attention. This is the formula. Can we at least make sure we re-sign Jed Lowry? Oh, man. Yeah, Jared, I saw that. Those reports that the Twins are interested in Manaea or Montas. I just saw that literally, and that's why I'm doing this live. No, Brutus, this was spur of the moment. I was going to record this video, and the reason I said I will do it live is because what happens if I record it, go in and edit it and publish it, and then by the time it's like on YouTube for 5 minutes, something changes and Chapman, Olson, Manaea, or Montas is traded. So this is off the cuff. Who would I want from the Yankees for Olson, and could Murphy be traded? Look, I think Sean Murphy in that conversation too. I think you're looking at those big four remaining, Montas, Manaea, Chapman, Olson, but then there's another core of players who still provide a ton of value, the Pinders. If Piscotty is healthy, Ramon Laureano, and Murph is in there too, and James Caprillion. I'm not even diving into the pitching part of this, but and you've got Chad Pinder as your icon there. So there you go. When he had the long hair. Look, it's one of these deals where I think for the A's a lot of things are on the table. It does appear that way. And what I want, I have no clue. Honestly, well, I actually do have a clue. I want players that are going to be in their prime. Well, not when I say in their prime. I want them to be major league ready by 2025, so that you can have 25 and 26, maybe a new stadiums then, maybe 27, whatever, 25, 6, 7. That's what I want. I know that's super generic, but that's the truth. It's more about the timing of this for me than anything else. Yeah, you know who the only player I want is? A guy named, is it Charles P. Howard Terminal? Is that right? I think it's Charles P. Howard Terminal. Let me double check that. Charles P. Yep, that's it. Charles P. Howard Terminal. Charles P. Howard is the only is the most important name for me. Tony Kemp for MVP. You know what? I really enjoyed Tony's last season and how with the more opportunity he got, the more he took advantage of it. I'll talk to him about that in a couple days. And I know he just became a new dad. Big time of life for Tony Kemp. Anything less than a top prospect in any deal we make is a bad move. Totally understand that sentiment. Eric is a fan of Angles. No, the Angels. I know. I was probably autocorrect. Okay, Eric, you're a Giants fan? I don't know why you're here then. The Giants and the Angels, so the geographical and the A's division longtime rival? Caker Girl, hello? I am that icon right now. I am upside down. All right, so I think I might have reached the end of the live chat here, but let me just say it like this. If you are an A's fan, take it easy on yourself lately. Like I said, there's a lot going on. There are stadium developments. There's a big meeting on Wednesday. Will Howard Terminal have its port designation officially removed? Maybe some more transactions within the next week. Spring training officially kind of kicking off today for the Oakland A's. I realize there's a lot going on. So take a deep breath. I'm here with you. We'll keep talking about this. We'll keep making videos. We'll sort this out together. So it was an impromptu live stream. What can I say? I just decided to hop on here. I didn't want to publish a video and record it because it was definitely going to be outdated by the time I got to it. Something might happen later today, honestly. But I wanted to set the scene. And if you're just tuning in, go back, rewind this video to the first 10 minutes or so. It's when I tried to really make all the most genuine and important points about what's going on right now, what the A's are doing, what might come next, what the Bassitt thing meant. And just to recap, I was surprised he was first, not surprised at all that it happened. Sentimentally, it hits me from the injury he went through last year to him creating Ride the Wave and him being a clubhouse leader and one of the best interviews the A's have ever had. So hang in there, and we'll talk to you sooner than later, all right? Have a good day.